You know, if someone had told me I'd end up facing down an angry HOA president before I'd even unpacked a single box at our family's lakefront cabin, I would have laughed in their face. But here's how my daughter and I wound up standing on our own porch getting treated like fugitives, all because some clipboard-wielding stranger didn't like the look of our wildflowers or the color of our mailbox. You want a real story about property wars? Pull up a chair. So there we were, me and my 10-year-old Chloe dragging her art supplies and teddy bear across our gravel driveway just trying to make this old place feel like home again. I'd barely put the box down when this woman storms across the lawn like she's leading a cavalry charge. Navy blazer, layered hair, probably in her early 60s, she radiated that special kind of authority you only get from decades of telling people no. Before I could even get a hello out, she's on the phone reporting us as trespassers. 2 patrol cars show up, lights flashing, while Chloe freezes behind me. That woman, Carol Mitchell, self-declared president of the Lakeside Homeowners Association, doesn't waste a second. You can't move in here without HOA approval. She barks, waving a clipboard like it's the law of the land. I try explaining my family's owned this property for over 40 years, but she's already flipping through paperwork, rattling off violations like she's memorized every line of her community's sacred rule book. The dock's too long, the wildflowers aren't on her precious list, and God help us, the paint isn't HOA-approved beige. It gets worse. She demands move-in permits, landscaping plans, even a property compliance checklist. When I tell her again this is my home and I've got the deed to prove it, she calls the cops right in front of my daughter, acting like we're squatters crashing a gated mansion. I felt my face go cold as the officers arrive, trying to piece together the crime. I show them the deed. One of the officers, Johnson, looks at Carol with this tired expression that says he's been through this dance before. Ma'am, unless you've got evidence this man doesn't own the place, there's nothing for us to do here. The look on Carol's face, priceless. Still, the damage was done. Chloe's hand was shaking in mine, her new home already tainted by this ugly introduction. And then Johnson drops the real bomb. You're the 3rd family this month, he says quietly, just to me. Last ones were a vet and a single mom. They moved out. Couldn't take it. So great. We're the latest targets in Carol's neighborhood crusade. The next morning, I find a manila envelope jammed in my screen door, Lakeside HOA's welcome package, 47 pages of rules. I kid you not, grass height shall not exceed 2.5 inches. No unapproved garden gnomes. All paint colors must be submitted for review 90 days before application. I thought it was a joke until I heard tape ripping outside. There's Carol posting bright orange violation notices on every inch of my property. $50 for unapproved wildflowers. $75 for a mailbox color. $100 for not submitting a landscaping plan. $25 for dock extension. $230 in fines before breakfast. All for stuff that had been there since the Reagan administration. Chloe asks, Daddy, are we in trouble? And I don't know what to say. I catch neighbors reading the notices, but no one says a word. Some even cross the street to avoid us like we're contagious. Carol's not just using rules, she's using shame, isolation. You know what I mean? She wants us gone, and she's not even subtle about it. Then a twist, an old man named Arthur Hoffman shows up on my porch with 2 cups of herbal tea. Turns out he's known my family for decades. Your grandfather called them land pirates with bank cologne. Arthur chuckles, glancing at Carol's window. He tells me Grandpa was offered $1.2 million for the property back in '04. Never sold. Why not? Arthur shrugs, says Grandpa was stubborn, but there's a story there. Now I'm really wondering what secrets this land holds. The community meeting that week feels like a public trial. Carol's at the front, projecting slides of my crimes for everyone to see, my dock grandma's wildflowers, the old paint job annotated with red arrows like we're being indicted on live TV. She calls for the removal of every non-compliant structure. I stand up heart-pounding and tell them about my family's history, the meaning behind every plant and board. But Carol cuts me off. Emotional appeals don't override community standards. She snaps and calls for a vote. The motion passes. 15-10. Chloe cries the whole ride home. I feel gutted, like I've failed to protect everything my grandparents built. That night I find Chloe drawing a picture of two people on a cloud above a tiny house. She says, if we lose this place, I won't have anywhere to be close to you anymore. Hits me like a sledgehammer. I realize I need to fight. I remember Arthur's story about the money offer, about Grandpa being prepared for a fight. I find an old chest in the living room, hadn't opened it in years. Inside, a treasure trove of legal documents. There's a notarized letter from 2003. My property is not part of the Lakeside HOA, signed and backed by law. Detailed maps show our land predates the HOA by decades. Letters between Grandpa and his lawyer documenting everything. Turns out the old man saw this coming and built a legal fortress. I call up Grandpa's old attorney, Miller. He's retired but still sharp as ever. He confirms everything. The HOA has no claim on our land. Every fine and threat is legally meaningless. Miller grins. How dramatic do you want to make this, I say, as dramatic as possible. The next night, Carol calls another emergency meeting to enforce compliance. The room's packed, everyone's ready for blood. This time I walk in with my own folder of documents. Before you start, I say the community needs to see this. I lay out the proof, deeds, maps, letters, all establishing that our property is exempt from HOA control. Carol sputters, tries to recover, but I tell the board, every violation, every fine, every notice is legal harassment. You've been lied to. One board member makes for the exit. The room erupts. Carol tries to claim the documents are fake, but I've got notarized copies, the city clerk on speed dial, even Miller on standby. The board votes Carol's out 12-1. Only she votes for herself. The mood in the room shifts overnight. Suddenly, I'm the neighbor everyone wants to apologize to, even if only with a sheepish wave. But Carol's not done. Days later, I hear a tow truck coming down the road. She's reported Grandpa's old fishing boat is abandoned. The city hauls it away in front of Chloe, who's trying to film a nature vlog. My daughter's crying on camera while Carol smirks from her porch until she starts ranting about how Grandpa ruined her life by not selling out. Her meltdown gets recorded and goes viral. The neighborhood turns on her for good. She's banned from every meeting, from setting foot on association property. And here's the kicker. While sorting through the chest again, I find another set of documents. Grandpa didn't just keep our cabin outside the HOA, he also retained legal ownership of the only access road leading into the entire community, private, never transferred to the HOA or city. For nearly 40 years, all these folks, Carol included, had been driving over my family's land without permission. Now, after everything I own, their only way in or out. Carol files a last-ditch lawsuit dragging me into court for alleged environmental hazards. But my lawyer drops the bombshell: the Spencer family owns the access road, period. The judge sides with us, declares my right to control entry ironclad. I have a gate installed, a big green one with a wooden sign beneath it, painted in Chloe's careful handwriting, Grandpa's Road, Our Rules. As I watch the neighborhood react, some angry, some finally friendly, I feel the weight of this power. 53 families stuck because of one woman's crusade. My daughter asks if we're going to punish everyone. I don't have an answer. I just know this Carol lost everything because she tried to control us, and my family's stubborn old wisdom saved the day. But now, what would you do if you had the keys to the whole kingdom? Would you show mercy? Or would you make them all pay for staying silent? Go on, tell me. I'm dying to know which side of this war you'd land on. And hey, if you've ever tangled with an HOA or just love a good revenge story, don't forget to share your thoughts. This debate is far from over.